So, what we're doing here at the Castle of the Muses on this day, Sunday, the 7th of December, is sharing a few thoughts about the spiritual state of the planet at the moment. I've just returned from these long trips to India for a month and then Turkey, and yesterday there was more news of another hostage being killed in Syria. This war is continuing, and in Iraq, continuing destabilisation. From the perspective of the Castle of the Muses and the work we're trying to do here in global and comparative philosophy, all these killings and battles and physical force struggles are mistaking the true work that needs to be done on the planet at this time. And indeed, in my opinion, as a scholar and historian of religions and a philosopher and theologian, they're completely missing the point of Islam and Christianity and Judaism and all the other great religions of mankind. The true jihad, in its deepest significance, is the struggle for enlightenment within each one of us. It's a personal journey. It's also a social journey, because how we strive for enlightenment personally affects our friends, our family, our community. The courage of the jihadis, the warriors, is not in question. People genuinely think that the best way to confront evil is to take up physical arms and attack it. I beg to differ as a philosopher of peace. I think that history shows that the best way to overcome evil is to transcend the capacity for evil in oneself. It was Confucius who apparently said that an archer's first duty, if they shoot and miss a target, is to turn around and examine within themselves the flaw that led them to miss the target. The word for sin in Christian theology, hamartia, means to miss the target. St. Paul pointed out that we've all missed the target at some point during our lives. We have to constantly seek tikkun, as Judaism puts it, the restoration and repair of that which has been damaged or harmed. The world is harmed enough by events of environmental catastrophe, the hurricane, typhoons affecting the Philippines, the great storms that lash the world, floods and droughts and so on. The world is a testing zone. All the great philosophies and religions agree on that. We pass through it and are tested as souls, it seems. Our passage through is very brief, as in the immortal image portrayed by Bede when the Northumbrian Anglo-Saxon king was debating whether to become Christian or not, and the pagan elder who advised him actually likened life to the passage of a bird flying in one window of the great hall and flying immediately out, and only briefly in the light and warmth of the great hall. Our lives are surrounded by the uncertainty of the dark night. And he said, although he was a pagan, he said, well, any light that can be shed on this passage, this brief passage, should be welcomed. And so the King of Northumbria decided to become Christian. In other words, to accept that light for the grace it can shed on us through our difficult passage through this world. It seems to me that we should accept all the spiritual teachings for all the light they can shed in these dark times. Religious violence promulgated by any faith is contrary to the teachings of all faiths, and it's time for religious leaders throughout the planet to speak out clearly with one voice. I'm delighted to see that some of my old colleagues in the World Conference on Religion and Peace have spoken out. Some great Muslim theologians, the Grand Mufti of Al-Azhar University in Cairo has recently been in Britain speaking about multi-faith tolerance. The Sunnis and Shias of Islam should work together for reconciling their long-standing disputes, which go back to a dispute between Ali and Aisha, and really we can't afford this dispute to go on anymore. Within the light of Allah, within the light of the supreme consciousness and bliss that creates and sustains the universe, there's no room for these petty ego disputes as to my tribe or your tribe, my lineage or your lineage, my guru or your guru. In the light of the potential nuclear weapons stockpiles that are on the planet, some of which are in the mountain opposite the loch here, which have the capacity to destroy human civilization many times over, we need to recover our lost wisdom at the most primal form, just as hydrogen forms the primal hydrogen bomb. So the letter He in the Kabbalah runes forms the essence of life. He is the living spirit that occurs twice in the name Yahweh, and is the secret innermost name of God. It refers to that primal hydrogen which makes life possible on a spiritual level, not just on physical hydrogen, but in terms of the life force that makes existence itself as we know it, organic life, possible. The true God behind the universe, as I understand it, the true ultimate reality that brings that life force into manifestation as humans and animals and planets and galaxies and stars, is good, is Tov in Hebrew, and wishes us goodness, wishes us to enjoy love, and wishes us to struggle against the darkness, wishes us to conquer through the true jihad those negative tendencies that we have, including our own self-doubts, our fears, our capacities for depressions, addictions, all the little demons that all of us have to face on this planet. Collectively, we need to help each other through, as Plato said, everyone down here is having a hard battle. We should help each other. So I would appeal from the bottom of my heart to all my fellow spiritual warriors and seekers of light, whatever name you go by, be it Muslim or Christian or Jew or Buddhist or Jain or Hindu, let's help each other to find that inner light within ourselves. That's the true victory we should be working for. And when we all do that sufficiently, then I think the world can get rid of its tendency to violence. We can grow out of our addiction to violence, this myth of redemptive violence that thinks we can only bring goodness into the world by victory physically against the enemy, the bad guy. Actually, we're all the bad guys and the good guys, just in different combinations at different swings of the life cycle. Different incarnational opportunities are thrown at us each time, and we throw the dice slightly differently. We've all been the good guys and bad guys again and again, like children playing in the park when they're young. It's time now to put the guns down and to give thanks to that primal life force, that Yahweh energy, that primal hydrogen, that source of being, and fall back in love with existence. And in that falling in love state that Rumi and the great poets talk about so beautifully, we can let go our addiction to violence and enter a world of genuine peace. I think this is what Christ, this is what the great teachers of mankind have always wanted for us. I don't think, with all due respect, they want us to be pursuing this addiction to violence and the myths of redemptive violence anymore. So it's time to wake up. As we come towards December the 21st, the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in a dark time. The days are very short now. Spiritually on the planet, we're in a dark time. But I think we have to have hope and faith. And this is where Paul's idea and the great saints, today's St. Ambrose Day, these great early saints knew that although we're only briefly in this lighted hall, we can have faith that there is some light beyond in what appears to us darkness. And therefore our actions here should be gauged and weighed according to light and according to our discernment of the structures of goodness behind existence. So as we come up to the winter solstice, and as the Druids used to celebrate at the winter solstice, and many of my friends in the Druid community will be doing at Stonehenge and elsewhere, on the dawn of December 21st, so we can join with them in spirit and give thanks to the solar being, which is the source of light and warmth, and is enough of a hydrogen bomb, thank you, for us on this planet. Let's disarm away from violence and fall back in love with each other and with existence. Thank you.